Supposedly, the worst time to get sick is in July, when brand new interns flood the teaching hospitals. Although these interns have gained hands-on experience in medical school, dealing with patients on wards is a different proposition. These young doctors are expected to make decisions, big and small, all on their own. They decide which antibiotic to prescribe, whether or not to order a CT scan, how to stabilize a decompensating patient, and how to speak to an anxious family. When I graduated from medical school in late June 2000, the immediate upgrade to Samantha Boardman, MD, boosted my confidence. After all those years wearing a short white student coat, I was finally allowed to put on a long one and walk proudly down the hospital hall. My honeymoon as the newly minted Dr. Boardman was short-lived. As soon as I arrived for the first night shift, a nurse paged me. A patient had died, and a doctor was needed to fill out a death certificate, which I'd only done once before. It was also my responsibility to notify family members and explain that they could request an autopsy if they wished. Of course, no one wants an autopsy, so I'd be careful to choose my words. My beeper went off again. A different nurse informed me that I had to draw blood cultures from a leukemia patient who had a fever of 103 degrees. "I'll be there right away," I said. When my beeper alerted me again, it was a third nurse who was concerned about a patient with a rapid heart rate. By now, my own heart rate was rising too, and the list of patients in need of my attention only continued to grow. My initial excitement at having become Dr. Boardman evaporated. Imposter syndrome kicked in. I felt like a fraud, playing dress-up in my white coat. My face turned red and tears pricked my eyes. I swallowed a big gulp of lukewarm black coffee and took a bite of a donut I'd shoved into my pocket earlier that day. If a patient had been in a cardiac crisis, I would have known exactly what to do. I would have swung into action, checked the patient's pulse and breathing. If the patient was in distress, I would call a code to alert the rapid response team that a patient was in cardiac arrest and then begin chest compressions. I was well trained in the handling of major emergencies, but this was an unrelenting barrage of smaller challenges. It isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear you out, it's the little pebble in your shoe, Muhammad Ali once said. I could have handled a boulder, but the avalanche of tiny pebbles was overwhelming. I hear echoes of my first night working as an intern in the stories of many patients. They tell me that they are emotionally exhausted and feel pulled in 1,000 different directions at once. Although their schedules are jam-packed, they long for a sense of genuine fulfillment. When I ask them to describe their state of mind in a single word, they reply with drained, depleted, and even dead. It's not that I'm drowning, a patient in her early 40s explained to me. I'm keeping my head above water, but the waves are big and I'm getting constantly splashed in the face. Another patient summed it up this way. Every day feels like a Sunday night, full of dread and emptiness. When I asked him to describe his mood in one word, he thought a moment and replied, lackluster. Another patient quoted a line from a Robert Lowell poem to convey her exasperation with the demands of daily life. How will the heart endure? The pebbles can pummel you. Determining whether a person is clinically depressed is not an arbitrary decision. Psychiatrists follow strict guidelines specified by the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, and look for at least 5 of the following 9 symptoms lasting at least 2 weeks. 1. Feels depressed most of the day, nearly every day, is indicated by subjective report. For example, feels sad, empty, hopeless, or observation made by others. For example, appears tearful. 2. Feels markedly diminished levels of interest or pleasure when engaging in all or almost all activities most of the day. Nearly every day is indicated by subjective account or observation. 3. Significant weight loss when not dieting, or weight gain or decrease or increase in appetite. 4. Sleep disturbance. 5. psychomotor agitation or retardation nearly every day, observable by others, not merely subjective feelings of restlessness or being slowed down.